Hello, everybody, and thanks for tuning in to Level Up Cleveland. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and notification buttons so you never miss an episode.
With classic hits like Heart of Gold, Southern Man, Powderfinger, and many more, Neil Young has rocked the world for decades. And nobody does Neil Young better than Sugar Mountain. This week, we'll be talking with both Mitch and Bill about all that goes into a tribute project and what classic rock band Mitch and the boys may be paying tribute to in the future. We have Sugar Mountain. I'm Big Bry. Level Up Cleveland starts right now. I'm in the band. 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 All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us here on Level Up Cleveland. Today we have in the studio Sugar Mountain, legendary Neil Young tribute band from Cleveland. In the house today, we got Mitch Rycheski. We got Bill Schultz. Not with us today, however. Dave Gross and Kenny Johnston.
We call him Dave G, like Kenny G, but with a pedestal.
Nice. Does he like that?
I think so.
It's his illegitimate brother from Oklahoma.
He doesn't complain.
No, and he's definitely added a lot to your guys' outfit there.
Oh, yeah. Kenny's a cross, I think, between, what's that, Who drummer's name?
Keith Moon.
Keith Moon. He's kind of a cross between Keith Moon
and Animal from
Animal.
Muppets.
Yeah, exactly. Animal from the Muppets.
It's all over. But,
Yeah.
Pardon me.
No, yeah. Yeah, Kenny's good. He's a great guy.
Our former band I mentioned, Cornerstone, we had a lot of fun in that band around Cleveland for a lot of years. Kenny was our drummer for a number of years, and when we found him and he auditioned for us, he had just come off of a long gig with a Ozzy tribute band called Blizzard of Oz.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I think they're still around
We stole him off the
on
stage.
and off. I haven't seen them lately, but
We said, that dude's good. We want him.
Kenny.
And we stole him off the stage.
Right, just picked him up with the drums and everything.
Let's
Pretty
go,
much.
buddy. You're our drummer now.
indeed.
You play Neil Young in the band.
Yes, sir.
And first of all, I just want to ask the name Sugar Mountain when these tribute bands come up with names. How did was it just basically you pick an album, you pick a song, and just that sounds good, we're going to go with it? Pretty much that simple.
Yes, to some degree, keeping in mind that we know there's been other tributes around, some of them for a while, and so we need to have a unique name. So we did research as far as names that are in use. We found nothing in use anywhere in the country, at least, under Sugar Mountain.
Oh.
So we thought that was good. In fact, we trademarked it.
Really?
Yes,
That's interesting. I didn't even know you could do that.
absolutely.
So when you guys go into deciding you're going to do a tribute band, and I always want to ask this with all tribute bands, is this more something that you feel you a niche that you discovered about yourself, that you were like, oh, hey, I do this well, so maybe we could take it to this direction? Or is this something you grew up and I just love Neil Young, I always wanted to do Neil Young, and it just so happens that I can do Neil Young? Like if there was any band that you could pick to be a tribute band, is this the one you would pick, or is this the one you just felt like you do best?
That's a very good question. Probably a little from column A, a little from column B, but I've always been kind of a campfire troubadour at heart, so I play a little bit of everything around the campfire, sing-alongs, what have you. And people did have a tendency to tell me, hey, that Neil Young really sounds spot on. But we've been in bands, over the years. Bill and Kenny and I were in a band called Cornerstone that was around for a lot of years, playing classic rock of all types. And again, when we would do a Neil Young song, it would kind of resonate. So when we found ourselves, kind of reforming in later years, what's our strong suit? What do we really want to go with? It kind of was a natural.
Yeah, yeah. So now I remember when you guys actually started out, and you guys were You were always a four-piece at that point, too. You had another guitar player at the time. And then later on, just over the last few years, you recently added a steel pedal or a pedal steel guitar player, Dave, and completely changed your guys' sound.
Yep.
Completely filled it out, completely made it really sound so much more authentic and so much more.
Oh, yeah. We're so happy to have him. Wouldn't you say, Bill?
We always tell Dave
my
to pay particular attention to detail. We want the songs to sound like the songs, and he does a bang-up job.
He really does. You guys do a really good job of that. So when it comes to, like, you were talking about other tribute bands, too, that do Neil Young and stuff. There are some local bands also that do Neil Young. Do you guys ever venture out, maybe go see a band like that just to see what your competition looks like? If you guys are doing something maybe that you see somebody else do, maybe gives you an idea or something. You ever do anything like that?
Absolutely. And to be honest, it's more online, because
researching that way. It's a lot easier.
And everyone's so busy, and it's hard enough to, because we all have full-time, day obligations and everything.
Right.
So, time is critical, and so we have to make the most of it. So, oftentimes it's online. But I am happy to say that we're always kind of pleasantly surprised that, at least in our minds, we think we're doing a better job, putting out a better product, and that in time people will recognize that, as more and more people are exposed to it. And in particular with the vocals, that we're really trying to be super authentic.
Yeah.
And so I think that's our difference in the market. But certainly the other bands out there, have been doing a good job for a long time.
Oh, yeah. And there's no doubt about it. When you guys do your songs, if you close your eyes sometimes, you will literally think you're listening to the Neil Young version of it.
With Crazy Horse.
Right. Mm-hmm. Now, you play the harmonica. You got the whole setup just like Neil Young and everything. Did you learn that before or after? Did you already know how to do that? Or when you became the Neil Young thing, did you say, well, I need to now learn how to do this to become Neil Young?
The latter.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Did you find it difficult? I mean, that's like...
it was easier than I thought. My dad started teaching me how to play guitar when I was like 8 years old. And, it was country songs, old like train songs and stuff, Jimmy Rogers type era. And so that was my first introduction to guitar. And, as I got older, I realized, hey, I can use these same chords and stuff to play rock and roll, But my dad always played harmonica as well, and it completely baffled me how he could do that. And I just couldn't figure it out. Maybe I was too young, I don't know. But once we decided we're going to do this Neil Young thing, I thought, well, this is it. You're going to learn it or else,
Yeah. Well, you can't be Neil Young if you're not doing that. They'll call people, especially in this day and age,
right.
People will call you out on any little thing you don't do.
Absolutely.
Especially being a tribute band. When you're imitating somebody, the diehard fans will come after you if you're not doing something the way they think it should be done.
Yeah. So I set about, trying to imitate what I was hearing. Excuse me. And I think Heart of Gold was the first one. Mm-hmm. And I found myself doing it. I'm like, wow, I kind of realized that certain places you need to exhale, certain places you need to inhale, and that you need different harmonicas for different keys if you're working with diatonic harmonicas. So the chromatic ones are the real big ones that you can do anything on. Neil doesn't really use those, I don't think. But once I started trying it, I found it to be easier than I ever thought it would be. And so kind of developed adding more and more songs. And now it's, kind of a natural. If it's got harmonic, oh, yeah, I got it. Right?
Yeah.
And he tells me I sound a lot like Bob Dylan, which, of course, is where Neil Young, got his inspiration.
Yes.
Ask Neil Young who his idol is. He'll tell you right off the bat, Bob Dylan.
That's right.
Which is like a lot of musicians will, especially from them times.
Oh, for sure.
They cite him.
Mm-hmm.
So when you decide to do a tribute band, obviously you've already played with other bands. You've already done other cover bands and stuff. So you're used to playing a whole array of different music and stuff like that. Now you've decided to kind of pigeonhole yourself into one specific artist and everything. Does that ever get old? Do you ever just sit there and, do you guys even come out of that shell when you play out now as a Neil Young tribute band? Do you ever say, you know what, let's play something else. Let's do something that's not Neil Young just for a change. Do you ever do that?
We do. And to answer the first question, though, it doesn't get boring because we're always looking to perfect it more and more. We always try and raise the bar. And it's amazing if you really critically listen to the music and really pay attention, you will pick out nuances every time you hear it.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh, I just realized they're doing this. And so the next time we do it, we add it, and it's more authentic. So it's always exciting in that way that we're always kind of honing it. But yeah, live shows, if we're the only ones performing and it's multiple hours, we're playing all night somewhere, yeah, we'll start shaking it up. Hey, you guys want to hear something else? And we'll throw in CCR and Skinner and, classic rock.
John Cougar,
John
Mellencamp kind
Cougar,
of.
what have you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You stay in that vein kind of, but it's you can branch off a little bit. And,
Yep.
We
yep.
could play Metallica if we wanted to.
True.
Remember the old Cornerstone days,
Yeah.
you know?
hey, do Neil Young playing Metallica? Why not?
Right. Well, I mean, you get all sorts of, interesting covers. Typo Negative did Neil Young. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
my wife Diane absolutely loved that, by the way.
Really?
Thought it was a great.
Cinnamon Girl by Typo Negative is
Yeah.
awesome.
Well, with that, let's take our first break of the day. We'll be back in a few minutes here with legendary Cleveland tribute band Sugar Mountain. We'll be back. Want to be a guest on Level Up Cleveland? Go to levelupcleveland.com and submit a guest application or call 1-888-626-9277 extension 0. Leave your name, the name of your band or your performing act, phone number, email address, and briefly tell us why you would be a good guest on Level Up Cleveland. We would love to have you on. All right, everybody, welcome back to Level Up Cleveland. In-house Sugar Mountain, and one thing that's important about this show that I like is I want other bands to watch this show that are thinking about maybe what they're going to do, younger bands and stuff like that too. There's nothing out there really to help you along, nobody really to guide you along, and I think the bands that are out there doing it successfully are the best way to find out some of the things that you need to do to be somewhat successful, even if it's just on a local scene. There's things you got to do, and there's work involved and stuff like that. It's not just just being on a local level. It takes work. It's not.
Oh
it's,
my gosh!
yeah.
Yeah,
It's incredible.
Every time we gig, it's like work, isn't it, Mitch?
Yeah. Well, first of all, you're a roadie, because we can't afford to hire roadies, right? So
That's
When you-
where it really
hauling
gets
your
rough.
own gear. Hauling
Yeah,
your
we
own
do.
gear.
We set it
and
up.
when you're deciding
you
what
know.
gear you want to buy, keep that in mind, because if it weighs heavy, you're gonna pay and pay and pay each time you load in and out, especially if you're up or downstairs. Oh my gosh! But you really need to be a jack of all trades. You're not just a performer; you're an electrician.
Yeah.
You need to know that the ground's not right in this receptacle I'm trying to plug my stuff into, and that's why I'm going to get a buzz out of that amp, if I do that, and that sort of thing. Or, soldering cables. Bill's our resident cable solderer.
I'm the electronic technician.
Yeah.
I actually went to school for it.
But you actually do need what you're saying in a band. I mean, it's not, or at least a good friend or somebody that you can rely on that can do all that stuff, because that's a very good point. What you're making is you are a jack of all trades. You are somebody that has to break your back hauling your equipment. And if you're playing in a small venue, you don't need your Marshall stack today.
Right.
Right.
You
know,
gotta,
and you probably really never need your Marshall stack
right.
unless you're, playing somewhere.
Coliseum type
Yeah,
thing.
and so that's a very, very. I know in the bands that I've been in with, getting a new PA or something like that, there's a learning curve trying to figure out how to set this thing up.
Oh yeah, you have to be a
Within an
production-
hour,
We all read the book.
You got to be a sound
Yes.
engineer. Absolutely. And, if there's one thing that'll drive a bar owner or a club owner or a venue owner bonkers is if the music's just too obnoxiously loud and people can't hear to order a beverage.
They're annoyed.
Or order food or
Yeah.
what have you. So, yeah, we really strive to keep a good level to where, it's rock and roll. You're going to have some volume, but in a warm, balanced,
It can be done.
enjoyable sort of way, not an in-your-face sort
We're
of
not kicking your
blaring,
butt right now kind of way.
Yeah, so it makes a big difference.
Right.
But, when we had issues with our rehearsal studio flooding, You know, unfortunately, we moved into another room and we became carpenters. We had to build a stage and all that stuff.
Out of
to
flood stage, 18
you know,
inches high.
make sure we're safe. We're not going to have any more catastrophic, issues. Because we had a flood on Labor Day of 2020.
Right.
So took us a while to recover from that in our new room. Like I say, we had to become carpenters. You know, we had to become painters. It's whatever it takes to keep the show going on. You know, keep things
Absolutely.
moving forward. And it really is a production in every way. Stage lighting. Do we need to bring it? Is there enough there? Do they have sound? Do we need to bring sound? What do they have? Is it indoor? Is it outdoor?
Do we need
so
lighting?
much.
Yes,
Yeah.
no, maybe.
And it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
The lights are huge.
Yeah.
I-
Lights are a big thing.
Just in some of your videos, I mean, it's really apparent in the video where you guys have that lighting, and it just creates a professional look. It doesn't look.
right.
It doesn't look like I'm watching some tribute band. It looks like I'm watching. This might be. If I didn't know who Neil Young was, this could be Neil Young. It's got the
Absolutely.
production behind it and everything.
Funny you mentioned that because, one of the shows we were playing, somebody had an app that, you can click on it.
Like Shazam type app
it'll
where it
tell
tells you who
it
that band is.
Yeah. Pointed at your TV or whatever, and they pointed at me, and it came up Neil Young
No way.
as we
Oh,
were
yeah.
performing. Yeah.
No way.
So
I think that's
really
actually
cool.
pretty bizarre.
I was.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
So I don't know how we got on that topic.
Well, I don't know, but it's fun to talk about Shazam, just to say Shazam. Well, I catch myself doing that a lot when I see you guys. I catch myself, even though I've heard you guys a number of times, I still catch myself going, wow. I mean, like that part is just, like certain parts will just literally sound so much like the song, and I just find that hard to do. Even with the best tribute bands, there's always something missing. There's always like a bass player isn't doing something right. The drums are just not in the pocket a certain way, and you can tell.
Yep.
With you guys, there's a lot of parts where, man, like it just it sounds like it.
You would think you're listening to an album or a bootleg, even, or that they had dropped by the studio and just cut this track, right? Because it sounds like, wow, this is Neil and Crazy Horse.
Yeah,
But-
and that doesn't sound to me like you're putting on a voice. It sounds to me like that's kind of your singing voice in natural. Maybe you help it or whatever you might, but I'm just saying it
Yep.
doesn't sound phony or put on. It doesn't sound. I'm sure. I'd like to see. I haven't seen probably any other Neil Young tribute bands that I can think of right now besides you guys, and I would be surprised to see another one because he's got such a distinctive way of singing, and his voice is so distinctive.
Right.
You would think that it would be very hard without sounding like you're putting it on to actually try to do that kind of voice. And
yeah, and that's kind of one of the weird things is I just happen to have that voice.
that's why I
It's
asked
like-
you earlier about
Yeah.
did the tribute band come about because you're just good at it, like
He's
you
good
just
at
all
it.
of a sudden you're like, look, I can do this. You guys could also do CCR real well.
Thank you. Yes,
Yeah.
John Fogerty, I think, is another one that
Right in the wheelhouse.
just it's in the comfortable singing zone and just kind of comes out sounding right. Yeah, I'm kind of trying to sound like I'm. There's certain pronunciations or voice inflections
Too
or
good.
whatever, but beyond that, it is what it is. So we're actually kicking around. You heard it here first. We're kicking around the idea of doing a CCR tribute as well,
Nice.
and splitting our time.
Instead of putting all your eggs in one basket,
Well, yeah,
you
and
do
then-
it so well. I mean,
Do
why not?
both,
And then give
They're fun.
give the option to hire both bands for the same night, half the night each, and shake it up, break it up, give the folks what they want.
Just change a hat, maybe.
Yeah, well, you
Right.
take this off, you put on a cow or a baseball hat,
Backwards.
backward.
Oh,
you
Got
yeah.
John Fogerty.
change a different color flannel, maybe. Throw a bandana in my pocket, and you got
And you're John Fogerty.
John Fogerty.
Nice. Good idea.
Right.
I've heard you
So-
guys do Fog Hat. I've heard you guys do a couple other things too.
Yeah.
In your sets. It's
The fun songs.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
Yep.
Oh, that's
One,
a ball.
and speaking of fun, I mean CCR. I've never heard a CCR tune that doesn't make me tap my foot or move around or sing along or something. It's so infectious. So
Me too.
that's part of why we're thinking about it. Because it's fun. It's got to be fun.
We couldn't believe everyone got it right. I forgot the riff. All right. 1, 2, 3. Shrimp, juice, lick it up off the table. Shrimp, juice, lick it up off the floor. Shrimp juice, lick it up off the table. Shrimp juice, lick it up off the floor. Lick it up off the table. Shrimp juice, lick it up off the floor. Shrimp juice, lick it up off the table. Shrimp juice, lick it up off the floor. Lick it off the floor. Lick it, lick it. Lick it up off the floor. Lick it, shrimp juice, lick it up off the table. Shrimp juice, lick it up off the floor. Shrimp juice, lick it up off the table. Shrimp juice, lick it up off the floor. Lick it up. Off the floor. Lick it up off the table. Shrimp juice, lick it up off the floor. Shrimp juice, lick it up off the table. Shrimp juice, lick it up off the floor. Lick it off the shrimp juice, yeah.
That does it for another episode of Level Up Cleveland. We hope you enjoyed it. Check out the description below for links that are everything Sugar Mountain and Level Up Cleveland. And remember, you can always hear the interview in its entirety on the Level Up Cleveland podcast, available wherever you get your podcasts. See you next week when we talk to local psychedelic jazz fusion jam band, Camel Butter.
Level up, everybody!